Hey kids,
Oh.
how you doing? How you doing, Roy?
I'm doing good, Mark. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good.
Fresh new week for us.
Yeah,
Get some things done.
yeah. Um, the last time we worked, it was I think on Thursday.
Yeah,
Um,
sounds about
and
right.
and I did do a little bit of work over the weekend, as I recall, but nothing that really impacts what we were doing. We were we were working on Wild Shape,
Hmm?
and I kind of wanted to continue that. So,
Fair enough. Yeah,
how
good.
things going over in the UK, my friend?
It's nice. It's a sunny weather, and I actually, I sort of didn't break lockdown, so to speak, but I actually went out in the sun to a local park for a small amount of time today, which felt a bit more human as a result,
Nice.
rather than being trapped in the house.
That's good. Yeah.
It's
Yeah, no, I like that. I like that. They closed the beaches down here in Costa Rica, and it for us it was really kind of bad because we were going to the beaches, not violating. We're still staying far away from everybody else, just as a family though. But we would
mhm.
go on walks, and when they closed it
Yep.
down and that stopped, it was like, oh man, it was much tougher. Right? It's
Yeah.
far easier to be in a in a place considered a vacation spot or a holiday spot by many, and be
Yep.
able to actually enjoy that than it is to to be in your
Oh, indeed.
to be inside your house the whole time. So that's it.
I
Fred's
mean, to
with
be
us.
honest, lucky I'm one of those with a garden somewhere I can go out in. But I reckon those with apartments are probably suffering a lot up until this point. So a lot of sympathy for people like that
Yeah, no, I agree.
in that situation.
Fred's with us. Fred's the man. How you doing, Fred? No, you're the man, Fred.
Hey, Fred.
Fred, you're the man. You're the man. You good, Fred? You have a good weekend? Fred says, okay. All right, you had a good weekend.
Excellent.
All right, cool. We are creating stuff for the Dungeons and Dragons show. That's what we're doing. I just checked in the code we wrote in the last couple days, and let's kind of I'll show you kind of where we are with this here. Notice over here, man. This is like
I'm looking at that 199% GPU. I mean, it's not much of a difference either way, but that's a lot,
yeah, and it seems like
isn't that?
almost a roll of the dice whether it gets me or not. To be honest, it's like sometimes everything's great. I can ease in, and sometimes it's not. I suspect actually that there's a way I can rewrite my overlays that it'll be nicer. Like if we come in here and we
Okay.
start turning off, let's turn off the Dungeons and Dragons overlays. We'll turn off the dragon back one, I just did that now, so I've made that invisible.
Hmm.
No
So
significant.
well, it's the nameplates have vanished. Really,
Yeah,
that's the main difference.
yeah. The well, no, the nameplates are I already turned those off. That was the back overlay. So the back overlay is responsible for the clock, the image behind the clock that
Oh yeah.
rotates, special
Hmm.
effects that go behind us, that sort of thing. The GPU dropped from 100% to 99 is essentially what it did. It just basically took off a
Yeah.
little bit. Now, if I turn off the Dragon Front overlay, I'm going to do that next. We'll lose the name tag for Fred over there, and we'll lose the clock over there. Let's do that. And we're now
Okay.
putting. We're trying to do stuff. I'm trying to focus on myself. Pudding,
That's right.
seriously, always on
If
top
you're
of
aiming
me.
for performance, evidently more pudding.
Oh my god. Does anybody else have to deal with this kind of thing? Dealing with
It's hard to believe that anyone else would have quite this situation to deal with.
dumping pudding on them when they're trying to work through a problem. How you doing,
Indeed.
pudding? Spidey Sense was telling me I had to check Twitch. Aha, as if you didn't like it. I don't like it, mister. All right, so let's see what we're doing here. I'm turning stuff off to see if I can get my GPU down. Now I'm
Yeah.
down to one last one, the dice overlay, the dice
Mhm.
layer. So let's turn this off. And I think when I finally get this thing off, you're going to give me the breathing room, GPU? No. The GPU is like, no, no, and no. All right, I got one last thing I can shut off. It's the drone game. I'll have to refresh it at the end to get our music back. All right, here, let's do it. Let's turn off the drone game. Still at 100% GPU.
Yeah.
90, there
I
it
was,
is.
I was trying to come up with a positive, and I think, oh no, it has dropped.
You got 7%.
Up until this point, it wasn't really so much about had it dropped any. It was how much relative time was it spending on 99 versus 100.
Yeah. One of the things that's interesting.
That was an actual drop.
Listen, the Coder's music is still playing even though we hid the overlay, which makes me wonder, even if I'm hiding these overlays, is it possible that
Still running.
that they're still running? Let me go refresh them now. I'm going to refresh the Dragon overlays here one at a time. How are we doing? Rory, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Pudding, you good?
Yeah, you good, Pudding? Yeah, I hope you're good. You just dumped a whole bunch of pudding. That's like a reasonable amount. I'd really like just one day if like just a single little pudding would drop from the sky.
A pudding. That would be good.
A pudding. That's what I'm looking for. Just one. Okay, so I'm going to go in. I'm going to refresh these. That's going to... looks like this one just kind of refreshed itself already just by bringing it up. Oh, I guess because it refreshes when I make it visible again. All right, so let's just do that. I'll make all these visible again. And in doing so, we should hear the... let's do 1, 2, and 3. So now all the Dragon overlays are visible again. How's my GPU?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all, not going anywhere. All right, drone game making it visible again.
It feels like you should be able to take these layers off and they should have an impact. And it was only that, was it the Dragonfront game that seemed to have an impact? Almost as if it's not, crazy things, right? Things that are not in use shouldn't be costing you, right? That's a theoretical rule, right?
Yeah. Also,
how many alternate scenes have you got that shouldn't be affecting you?
Also, it's costing me in the GPU department, which is like, it's not really making sense to me what's going on. In fact, for me, if I look at the coins spinning around, they're at a low frame rate right now. They're looking to me like maybe 5 frames a second. It's not smooth like it usually is. I feel like I've seen this before, Rory, and a restart of the machine can often cure this. I guess I'm not going to focus on it too much right now, other than, I guess, just know, I'm like, and I talked about this before, I'm trying to figure out how do I get a brand new desktop machine in that solves this without my wife being all like, wait, where'd that machine come from? Right? Because the problem is... You need to be able
to disguise it in something, right?
The problem
Make it look like a couch or something.
Yeah, the problem is, as you may know, Rory, the machine I need to solve this problem, it glows. This machine is going to have a motherboard that looks like it's a car, like a sports car, right? Oh, it's Oscar. Hey, Oscar, can we talk about how your weekend was, Oscar? Oh, man. I never get my questions in fast enough. Deepwater, I'm so glad you're back. I haven't seen you in a couple days. I was like in a couple shows, I was like, oh no, Deepwater's gone, and I was in the middle of doing his fanfare. Yeah.
Grobosaurus is like, hide your machine, this new machine, in Oscar's trash can.
Ah, I see.
Of course, that may not be the safest place to put it, given what we've just seen.
Yeah, so I want, that's true. So I want to solve this problem. The problem is I can't solve this problem without throwing a lot of money at it. And I can't throw a lot of money at it without getting my wife on board. And there's no way I'm going to get my wife on board because I already bought her a puppy and there's nothing else she's asking for. So there's nothing I can do. Surly does. In the house. Hey, Surly.
Welcome, Surly.
Welcome. Let me just put Fred's on there. Fred's name tag. I can clear everybody else's. So yeah, we're running a little slow, it seems. I don't have a good workaround for this. And the thing is, I think there's also some incremental things going on too. Well, my biggest clue is it's this guy, but I don't know what that guy is.
No. I tell you what, there's another strange issue going on. Although that 99 and 100 is staying fairly constant, the values that make it up are not. So that top entry you've got there has jumped from between, I think, 53 and 47 whilst I've been watching it, up and down, up and down. But the total usage hasn't. So it's like every time this one process eases off, something else jumps in to use up all the spare.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's the thing is I'm pushing over the top. That's what's going on. Now, I'm also live streaming, right? I'm also
True.
sending you live video onto another machine, right? I think I'm going to spend some time trying to integrate vMix into this scenario. And it won't really affect our show, I think, but I'm going to offload some things. It might improve the Dragon Humper show. By the way, with Dragon Humpers, that's the Dungeons and Dragons show that we're doing live every Thursday and Sunday. Thinking about 2 weeks, we're going to change that to Wednesdays and Sundays. By the way, everything seems to be just barely working. In terms of we're right above, getting right above the point of failure. It's like almost like I feel like we're in a race car kind of scenario, right? Where you're just pushing the limits of where the machine breaks down, the tires lose grip on the road, and you go spinning out into the track.
Yeah.
Oh, look who's here! Boom!
Who could that be?
Here to save us all from the patriarchy. Thank you, Sex Positive. Glad you're here. How you doing, baby? I hate your wallet. I didn't say it. Mr. Announcer Guy said that. I want to point that out. I don't know Mr. Announcer Guy who he is, but I will fire him, honey. I'm going to fire him. Sex Positive's my wife. She's in the chat room.
We're going to track him down.
How you doing, baby? Deepwater, by the way, Deepwater, I started working on your fanfare, not done, but I'm loving it so far. I got I'm really becoming good at this wrapping items around me. So I've got, at this point in your fanfare, I've got a shark that comes in and then circles around me. And I'm loving what we can do now with this kind of 3D-like look to the elements.
Nice.
So working on it. So keep hanging out. We'll hopefully get that to you maybe in a week. I don't know. I got to sneak some time to go do that. Work on that. So yeah, sometimes this happens, Rory, where this guy, it's like it comes out. I don't know if OBS is saying, I'm going to create my own separate process for this. I don't really understand why it's not in the list here. I have tried, coming in here and ending the task. And when I've done that once before. And as I recall, OBS was like, sorry, I can't do anything anymore. And it's just like gone. So, I'm feeling like I want to fix this and I'm leaning towards throwing more power at the problem. But not sure how to do that. Anyway. Deepwater says, I'm not going anywhere, work permitting, or maybe being hit by a bus, but COVID ain't going to get me. Good. Shirley Dub quickly deletes his GitHub fork for Mr. Announcer Hotbot. Oh, that's right. You better be careful, because Sex Positive now, I don't know if you noticed or not, I've been asking her, what should I do with this code? And she's like, refactor that method. Seems to me she's been taking some late night courses, learning how to code, learning how to get on GitHub, learning how to find out, who made a pull request. Shirley might be in trouble. Yeah, she says seriously. So I don't know. It's fun to talk about this stuff. The code I picked to do right today. To be honest, Rory, I'm like, oh man, this is tough code to write in an entertaining way. It's not like it's and for me especially because I'm not like an expert in this area at all. So it's kind of like it's just not as fun as I normally like having on the show, but it's kind of the next step, so we kind of have to do that. So So let's get you up to speed with where we are. We were working on wild shape, the ability for a character to say, "Hey, I want to go wild shape." Yep. Inside our features that are defined in our Google Sheets here, we've got wild shape, and we've done a really clever thing. So we're basically implementing a Dungeons and Dragons rules engine, and because which is Sex positive, you're all going down. Pudding's like, excuse me, but that's not a lot of people sex positive. I'm just sitting here dumping pudding on everyone once in a while. I'm sorry, but that's a lot of people sex positive. That's a lot of people. All right. You're all going down.
Pudding, are you suggesting that you don't think she can do it? Because I don't think that's a suggestion you want to make.
Don't make that suggestion.
No.
She has lasers in her eyes.
She has lasers. See, there you go.
That's not. That wasn't actually like, there was no part of that was made up. I just took out my cell phone and recorded it, and that was actually Karen's alter ego that she turns into. It's her superpower. So we got wild shape defined here in the spreadsheet. So Dungeons and Dragons, right? Creating a rules engine for Dungeons and Dragons. I mean, even if you were going to say, I'm going to create a rules engine for tabletop gaming, right? The whole thing is like kind of daunting. And we came in here and we said, well, let's do one just for Dungeons and Dragons, which limits the scope to some degree.
Just for Dungeons and Dragons,
right?
You know, the topic on which they've written how many tomes?
Yeah, there are like
descriptions of.
There are 3 core tomes that you can buy, plus probably I'd say at least 5 or 6, 7 other books that you can buy.
Spawned an independent industry.
Right. There are over 400 spells, I think. There are probably about 200 features. We've got 33 of them that we've defined so far. But in order to do it...
What we're saying is you're ambitious. This is good.
The rules for the game are not written in a way where it's clear that there's a mathematical element to them. And even once you parse that out, it's not like every spell has the same, everything. It's not like everything falls into a simple set of rules. It's absolutely not the case. Every spell, every feature, essentially is best implemented using events and code. That's what we've learned. And so we have that. We have events and code, including the ability to activate and deactivate buttons that can allow a player to say, I want to enter wild shape right now. So that's kind of what's going on here with wild shape. And we've got some code in here. And I think somewhere here in here, this line of code right here, I've got set wild shape, select monster. Right there. I don't even know if this works or not, Roy. This was like Thursday when we wrote this. Let's see. Cornelia has wild shape.
I'm trying to remember if I was even there for that last part. I know you did start it, and I know we did... obviously, we've got our reading and writing from Google Sheets now, which is good. So when we have our monster sheet... so certainly you're heading in the right direction. But that's 200 or 300 items, right?
Yeah. So I think you're asking me for a summary on the thing. So we basically said, build an expressions engine, stick everything in Google Sheets so we can have a human look at it and read the data. We're not database programmers, but we're reading and writing directly from the Google Sheets. And Google Sheets is kind of a database, kids, including with version history. So we kind of did it. I was going to say I got my comeuppance, but totally wrong word. I found a way to get back at the bullies when I was a kid at school, the database bullies. When I grew up, I went to an elementary school, a school for small kids. We had all these bullies that knew how to do database programming, and I didn't. Anyway, we're going to click on take wild shape here, and we're going to see what happens. Absolutely nothing. Okay, we just go straight into that. Okay, so that means it doesn't work. Select monster is not doing anything yet. We need
not quite there. Okay.
We need to figure that out. So I guess we'll kind of jump in there. Let me also show you though. Over here on the test page, I've got a pick monster button, and that's going to go bring in all of the monsters that we have. Okay, there they are. Now, I feel like I want to tell you one more thing. I did this over the weekend, and it was crazy clever thing that I did. Simple and clever, which is one of my favorite things to do. But part of it was based part on the problem is that, like, for example, when you cast Shillelagh, you may have seen me test this in the past weeks. I would cast it, and then UI would come up on my screen, and the Dungeon Master would also get UI in the chat room. And UI in the chat room is kind of painful. It's like, make a choice. One, it's this, So Shillelagh, the choice is which weapon. Do you want to do it on the quarterstaff, or do you want to do it on the on the club. In fact, let's do that now so I can show you what I'm talking about with the UI. Let's close this a second. So we'll get back to the monsters in a second. I'm going to cast Shillelagh here using this button. And when I cast it, when I click this button down here, we should see the UI. There it is right there. Okay, so here's the UI, right? Which weapon? The UI is going to check the weapons that qualify for the spell, bringing up, we have a choice now. Okay? And then I click the answer like club. And now when I use my quarterstaff, no big deal. But when I use my club, it's got the magical effect on it. Like that, right? So when I roll my attack, it's got the bonuses, all of that. Oh, look. Because she's taken wild shape, look at the paw prints. Any attack while she's in wild shape is in that form, which is kind of cool. All right. So some things are...
You kind of made contact.
I think Mr. Netsuka didn't like my 2 damage on that. Okay, so that's how that looks now. The problem is that the Dungeon Master doesn't have this UI. The Dungeon Master has the Stream Deck in front of her.
Yeah.
And so, but when I say in front of her, if you've been watching the show, you know our Dungeon Master is a guy. But we have a second show, all ladies, and Karen is producing that and working with the ladies. I'm not sure when they're going to go live, but I think probably in about 2 weeks, maybe, is when I think they're going to go live. And that's going to add 2 more shows. And they're great. Great players, great Dungeon Master. So here's what I did. Instead of making this be the piece that activates it, I made it a folder. Okay. Then I put the answers to the question on the Stream Deck, right? And check out what these are doing. So this is the clever part right here. SS stands for select shortcut. W is the player ID, so it's which one of the players. So that's going to mean the player in this position right next to Fred. Shillelagh is the name is the text of the shortcut that we're going to select. Okay, so that means we're selecting the Shillelagh spell. And then I added this piece. So if this appears, this guy right here, right there, then
it's kind of a pipe symbol.
Yeah, then I'm going to parse out whatever. I'm going to take the rest out, and I'm going to treat it as an expression and execute it immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And so I added a new function called set next answer, and I simply pass in the text. Okay. So now what that means is the Dungeon Master is now going to be able to come in and hit Shillelagh, and then they're going to see this and they're going to know they'll be prompted to ask the question, which weapon do you want to assign it to? Now this is not generated automatically, so if Cornelia was to pick up another weapon that qualified for this, I'd have to add another button here. Okay.
Sure.
But what's cool about this is that this can be used all over the place, this set next answer, anytime there's a question. So now, things that had questions before, it's now obvious. So now the Dungeon Master says, quarterstaff or club? And she says club or quarterstaff, and then the Dungeon Master clicks the quarterstaff button, like right there, clicks on roll dice, like this, and now when we bring up the quarterstaff, where's the button for that? Right there. Should be, there it is. Got the magical effects. So super cool now, right? Right when I thought I couldn't do UI in the Stream Deck over the weekend, I realized I could. I could imply questions by just opening up, right? Just by opening this up.
So let me see if I understand this, Mark. Effectively, you found a way to prevent the need to ask the question because you're preemptively allowing the Dungeon Master to do the answering of that question. You're queuing up an answer.
Yeah. So we're going to do this.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I'm going to do the same thing with Wild Shape. So with Wild Shape, we're going to at first ask a question using the old UI, right, in the chat room UI. But then I'm going to turn Wild Shape into a folder, and I'm going to actually put buttons there. And the cool thing about that is now the game moves so much faster, right? Instead of having to slow down to do the interface part of it, where I'm like typing in a number, I'm looking through a list of monster names and choosing it. Deepwater says, anyone playing Animal Crossing on Switch? Got it from my wife for Mother's Day. At first she wasn't enthused, now she can't stop playing it. Everyone I know is playing Animal Crossing. I'm not. But all of the girls,
I'm not.
and Karen's not. She just shouted, "I'm not." All of the girls in the Dungeons and Dragons team are playing Animal Crossing, and Karen's just, yeah, she's shaking her head. If you ever, but do you want to show everybody your hair right now? By the way, baby, it's beautiful. No, it's beautiful. Come look at it. Come show her. No, it's her hair arrives before she does. There she is. Look at that baby right there.
I think it's your fault.
She's all mine. She's all mine. I love you. Hey, oh no, it's in trouble. Oh,
Thing?
I
What was that?
don't know. That wasn't me. It's-
'Cause- okay, can I tell you something about Animal Crossing? Like, you can watch people play Animal Crossing on Twitch.
oh, I bet you can.
It is the most boring thing I could ever imagine. Ever.
Deepwater says, got it for my wife. At first she wasn't enthused. Now she can't stop playing it.
I don't think that's gonna be me. I could be quarantined with nothing but my phone and Animal Crossing for 100
And you'd never jump
days,
in?
and I would never jump in.
I bet if you jumped in, you'd never get out. I
Yeah.
hear it's incredibly,
Addictive?
yeah. It's basically satiating, and creating hunger at the same time in this,
But
you
I
know.
don't get it. You're like a fake person going through a fake neighborhood, and you make fake places.
Isn't
Well,
that every game ever?
Yeah. Roy just says, isn't that every game ever?
Yeah, I don't like games that you don't play with other people.
Yeah.
I don't
Ah, fair enough.
like self-serving,
Karen's a social gamer.
satisfying games. Yeah, I'll play a game like a board game with other people or Dungeons and Dragons with other people, but playing a video game on my own is weird to me.
Yeah, Deepwater says you do play with others, though.
I do.
Deepwater just says you play Animal Crossing with other people. Yeah, I think it's a group game, yeah.
Oh, right.
Who would watch someone else do fun stuff, said Surly.
Get it.
So does that mean you visit each other's virtual locations and observe the decorating that has happened?
Yeah, Deepwater says we were playing with my son and visiting Friends Islands. Yeah.
It's like, isn't that the penguin game, right? Remember, like, Penguin Plunge that the kids played?
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
like the
They did.
little-
There's things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
me gusta.
I know, I'm sorry. That
Not
means
my thing.
I mean,
wish
she-
it was,
it does
but
not
I'm
please me.
14.
yeah. Don't get into it. Animal
Maybe
Crossing is the
Crossing
new
is
real
the
life.
new real life. I actually got an animal instead of playing Animal Crossing. We
It's true.
adopted a dog.
Do you have any?
And we have 2 little pigs nearby. But
Do you have any goodwill points left over from that? Getting you the dog, or did I
You-
use
no,
all those up?
you know what you used them on? What is the wallet comment on here?
No,
what
it wasn't
is-
me. That's not me. Just don't abuse me in front of everyone,
I can't believe
please.
you
Yeah,
said
wait till you're
that.
off camera, then.
Let's wait till we're off camera.
And I need the wallet. You're gonna I need the whole thing.
The whole thing. You make wallet cups. Seriously? What's the hand still doing here? What is the hand doing
If
here?
I'm gonna get accused over here,
Oh my God! There it goes, people. There it is. It's gone once again every day.
Oh yeah, there's lots in it.
But that's my whole job is keeping that filled for you. Do you know that? That's all I do.
Get back to work.
All right, kids. Let's get back to work. So that was was super cool because now it's much faster and less. Because the other problem with this is that with the way the UI was showing up in the chat room is the dungeon master would click Shillelagh, they would choose roll dice, and they might not realize there was a question. Same thing with
Yes.
I have a spell called Melts Minute Meteors, and I did the same thing there. So look at this. This used to cast the spell, or it used to bring it up. Now we get to hear, and it asks how many, right? So now the dungeon master just knows. They don't even have to be familiar with the UI, but if they hit a spell and and it jumps to something else like this with a cast spell button, then that means they get to pick, one of the options. It's a question. So that's kind of what I'm doing with that.
Fair enough.
Okay, so let's go figure this out. Let's figure out why select monster's not working. I have an idea. It's because we didn't write it. That's my guess. Let me hide the scroll.
That would explain things.
Switch somebody else so we get rid of the swinging weapon. Yeah, I think we just put a little placeholder for it and we didn't fill it in. That's what I think. You got to go under Stream Deck commands. I think select monster. Why don't I see that there? Oh, because it's not a Stream Deck command. I gotta make sure I keep it's down here. It's an expression function. Select monster function right there. Well, it actually looks like it maybe should work. Problem isn't here. On request select monster. Whoops. Are we within the events? We are. Ah, that's why. The problem's up here. Higher level. Okay, let's run the program. Well, instead of doing this, we got our monster picker somewhere in here. Which actually, to be fair, isn't even working yet. So maybe we work on the monster picker. This is the code that I thought was not going to be so good. But you know what, Roy, you're here with me. You're going to keep us, entertaining. As long as you're here, we'll work on this.
Try.
How's that? We're going to make it work, okay?
Sure.
All right, so let's look at the monster picker. Because I want to do a couple things with it. And one of the things I want to do with it is I want to show more detail. Did I lose Rory? I said Rory was with us. Hold on a second, kids. Switch into my second computer. Looks like I'm broadcasting. But he's coming back. There he is right there.
Apparently we're going to do entertaining by way of Skype dying.
We'll hang
Is
in
everyone
there.
thoroughly entertained?
We'll hang in there. All right. So what I want to do is I want to put something next to. I want to show the detail of the monster. Is what I want to do. And I've got this thing right here. I think this stack panel. So I want to do something here. But I'm not sure how to do it. I don't remember how to go from a selected item in a list box and then essentially setting the data source here, right? I want to say something like, what is it, data context? Is it data source, data context equals? And then I want to somehow redirect it over to whatever list box monsters is. I don't know. Let's see if we can search that. Let's find that first. And if you know it in the chat room, help us out. Let us know. Mark was robbed on camera. Who wears the trousers in the family? Oh my gosh, I'm wearing shorts right now. We're in Costa Rica. Yeah, I already searched for this. I was trying, and I don't think I found it. Set data, maybe context instead of data source. Context to selected. Finding is selected property. I don't think I want that. Manual list box and string list. No, that's not what I would think I want. Yeah, I don't want a list box. Just selected. Yeah, to a selected list box item. Binding data context. I don't want that. The same ones here. We're basically going to create like a detail view. In other words, a detail example. Maybe it is. Hold on. Binding lapsed? It's a lapse. No. Hold on. Here we go. Is that it? Selected item. Where are you getting selected item from? Maybe it doesn't mean what I think it means. Element name. All right, let's try that. I think it was without quotes.
So, sort of interpolating or trying to interpret the syntax, having not been a huge WPF person, when we say data context equals and we say binding, are we effectively telling it this object that I am annotating with this attribute? So effectively the grid. So it's the same as going grid.selectedItem.current in this particular moment. Is that right?
I didn't quite follow your whole question. I'm sorry, Rory. But I'll tell you what I believe this does, what I want it to do. I want the data context of this stack panel, which is essentially inherited by all its children, to be equal to the selected item of LB monsters. I think that this may just actually get it for me.
Okay.
I don't understand what this .current user piece is here, and I really don't know if this selected item is in fact the selected item property of this. I'm hoping it is.
Okay, so yeah, we're rooting on an element name that we declare, which in this case is the LB monsters, we hope. And then from there, we are taking selected item .current.
Yeah, so what I want to do here is I want to say selected item text. So I just want to do a text box here, and I want to say text is equal to the name again next to it, and see if we get that actually showing up. So
Okay.
let's just try that. Prime sub. Deepwater's a high roller. Thanks for the subscription, Deepwater. Yeah, Deepwater's fanfare is going to be cool. It's going to be cool.
Haven't seen a Thunderball.
All right. Over to test. I actually didn't need to initialize player data. I could have just jumped right over. Pick a monster. I was hoping to see something. I don't see anything. Hey. Here's my hay. The binding of name doesn't work. That doesn't make sense to me. That should be... It should really be the monster. If it was working, but I don't know that it's working is the problem. But name is the same in both. It should if it was working, I would expect that to work. So that is not working.
What was the value you were getting?
It's empty.
It's empty.
Yeah. It's
So it must be
nothing.
somehow pathing to something that doesn't have a name attribute.
My inference is the data
Name
context
value.
isn't working. So that's my sense.
Well, yeah, but even if it can fail in one of two ways. It can either point at the wrong thing, or it can point at nothing, as it were. So I was looking around, and you've got a name on listbox, you've got a name on text block. Sorry, not on text block. Well, yeah, text block. You've got a name on your stack panel, so it's not pointing at any of those things because otherwise it would show their names, right?
Oh no, this name, the fact that this works here infers that it should work here. Pretty sure about that. Unless there's a different syntax here because we're not in a data template. But I don't think that's the case. Let me just see if there's anything else going on here. Text is equal to binding elapse. Yeah, they're just grabbing that property there. What's super interesting is they're not using quotes here in this example code. Third world countries, Lego. Wait, hold on. What's that? I'm missing something. Got a Prime for free shipping, right? Wouldn't know we don't get free shipping here. Oh yeah, pudding. Or anything from Amazon. Yeah, it's a little bit tough. Looking for another example. Data binding list box list. How to bind list view values. Depends on combo boxes. Selected. What do we got here? Oh, this looks promising. Yeah, I would love IntelliSense for binding stuff.
That'd be good, wouldn't that?
So let's see if we can figure this out here. I've got soccer leagues here, item source here and here. Then I've got a label. Where's this stack panel? Oh, I see. Binding path name, that makes the league B right here show up. Then item sources equals binding.path equals divisions. I think it's building that into the class. Or maybe not. Hold on. It's setting the data context for the whole thing up here. That may be.
Yeah,
may be
that's
what I
our
need to
source.
do. Yeah, no, I get that. But what I'm thinking is, I'm setting the monsters data context, but I maybe should be setting it for the outer containing panel, is what I'm thinking.
At that point, it would be one source at least for both pieces. So
I'm setting
yeah.
up the item source here, is what I'm doing. And I'm wondering if that's my problem, because in this example, they're setting the data context for the whole thing in the outer dock panel. There's the list.
Yeah.
The list box, it says item sources binding right there. And then, yeah, binding path is equal to the name. So that's of the one, it's as if it's inferring selected item right there.
Mm.
And I think it's inferring it because the data context here, and is that true? Because it's a list, it knows which one's selected. If it's so, that's interesting. Because there's no code here that explains that if that's what's happening. Wait, what's this piece? Is synchronized with current item is equal to true. Display member path is equal to name. Holy cow. This is simplifying some of the things. All right, hold on. Let's follow this example. All right, let's follow it and see what happens. I'm going to close the app down because I think we got to make some changes to the binding that edit and continue and XAML hot reload won't support. So let's make those changes out here. So I am going to give this a name. I think XN is the coder's template for creating that bit of code right there. And I'm going to call this SP Monsters, like that. And I'm going to set this in the code because I think that's when we have the information coming in. Yeah. So I'm going to come in here, dot data context, I think is what it is. It's equal to all monsters. Okay, good. So that's step one. Down here, step two, we're going to grab that item sources binding. I'm going to grab like all of these. Like that. I think that's my power move right there. Right?
Yeah.
I think that's going to maybe make this whole thing work. Like some magic stuff right in here. And look at that. When I add this, it marks this inner part as cannot set both display member path and item template. Yeah.
Okay, so one is an alternative for the other.
Yeah, that's sweet. That's awesome. I love it. Okay, guess who's happier today right now?
We're learning. This is good.
Then I'm going to grab the list box code. Well, actually, I'm just going to grab item source, and it looks like all of that I need too, including the synchronized with current item. Oh wait, hold on. These are the divisions. That's this second piece here. I actually don't need that. I need just this right here, which I think I already have. That's it right there. And let's do...
Now you've got a bunch of other things in the stack panel itself there. Data context has been specified.
Let's get rid of that. All right. So we've gotten rid of that. I just want to say, I'll do something like this. The name is this. I want to change this one to a text block. This right here. Like that. It's going to be text is equal to that. And I want to put these in their own stack panel. SB. With a comma after it will give me that, which is I don't have to fill out all the values. So there we go. Now I've got name, and then I've got the name, and now let's see if this works. I have a much better feeling about this. And I also have a much better feeling about this because this feels easier to read than a lot of the binding strings, the WPF binding strings, which, you know, at one point I remember reading about them and grokking it and then not using them a whole lot. All right, let's bring up our test. Get it over here so you can see when it comes up. Pick monster. Oh, look at that. Look at that, Roy. Sweet. So now I just want to fill in some details about the monster over here. And we got a lot of details. I'm not going to, I think that's some, oops, sorry. Thanks for that. Let me do this over here. So we got a lot of details. Let's see if we can do using my favorite feature in the world.
That'll be the edit and continue and the not restarting anything.
Yeah.
And the recreation of the XAML at will based on your adjustment of it.
Yeah, that would be it.
Yep.
You make me sound so powerful.
Those are some good features.
All right, let's make that bold and look at it now. Look at that. It's already good. Let's add a margin around that stack panel. Right up. I almost want to do this. I want to say, let's, whoops, I want to be, you take half the screen, you take the other half of the screen. Oh, but I can't do them both at the same time, can I? Oh, I can do maybe this. Let's see if we can do this. So the monster detail, I'm going to hit M4 to put a 4 pixel margin all the way around there. You can see it update like that. Sweet. Let's get some more data. Is there a better way to do this? Grids, I could do a grid. Maybe the grid is the better way to do it. Let's look at the grid. To be honest, I haven't done a lot of grids, but so let's see. We want a 2 column by maybe 10 row grid. So I'm gonna type in G2 by 10 like that. Hit the code rush key like that, and we're gonna call this GRD detail like that. And I originally had that. All right, so there we go. There's our grid. I have the stack panel here, but I don't need that anymore. Actually, let's get rid of this. It's always a little bit nerve-wracking to me to get rid of a. Here, let's take these two pieces right here. I want to get these in the grid. It's always a little bit nerve-wracking to me during XAML hot reload to kill something like this and then replace it with that. It seemed to work. All right, cool. So we want to put this over here in column 1. So I'm just going to type in C1 here, and Coder's is going to give me that right there. Not bad. I think our width, we want to maybe make that auto. Like that. There we go. Check it out. Over there. Let's do our again. Let's make a margin maybe 6. So 6 pixels all around. Good. I want to align it vertically. Vertical alignment, BA. Right there, set it equal to top. Is that going to move it up? Nice.
There we go.
Look at this, kids. This is an ad for XAML Hot Reload, XAML.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know, maybe Dungeons and Dragons. This is like sweet how this is working. Rory, why don't you note the time?
Anything you can do to shorten that feedback cycle.
Note the time for me, Rory. I'm gonna maybe clip this or highlight this, and hopefully we won't make any mistakes going forward here. Okay. So now I've got this kind of thing going on down here where I have my name and I've got my column where I'm putting the data, that information. I guess we'll duplicate it. So anything I want to do, maybe I need to go look at monsters, what I need to do. I need to see what are the other important stats I want to go grab from monster. Challenge rating actually is one of the stats I want to bring up. However, I think I want it as a string, not a double. Yeah, I do. Which means I need a breakpoint. Which means I gotta set a breakpoint. So let's look at my monster picker and let's, I don't know, let's set a breakpoint here and click OK. Get to our breakpoint. All right, there's a breakpoint. Go out to monster. I want to create a property, a read-only property of type string. So RS is going to give me the read-only property of type string. And if I don't want backing store, I can make it shorter, a shorter template by putting a comma at the end of it. If I got to hit undo here because that was IntelliSense or something. So now RS comma is going to give me just that right there. So read-only string with a default implementer. And I'm going to call this challenge rating stir like this. And now what I'm going to do is come in here, because it's Dungeons and Dragons, I need to basically say, hey, look, if challenge rating is equal to 1/4, then I want to say return 1/4, like that. And I kind of want to just mark this and mark this, copy that to the clipboard, come down, paste it, type in an 8, hit enter, come down and paste it, type in a 2, and hit enter. And then I want to say else return challenge rating dot to stir, like that on it. So we've got 0, 1/8, 1/4, and 1/2. That's what's going on there. So I want the challenge rating stir to come up. So now I'm going to run it. We're going to go back now.
So the challenge rating that you're coming in with a double, is that capable of representing every one of those fractions?
I hope so. Are you worried
I remember
about
we did have
off by a few errors? Is that what you're worried about?
Well, I mean, to be honest, I'm just remembering when we had the issue with the money, and the money wasn't capable of representing a particular value because we didn't do it as a decimal.
Oh, right. Yeah.
But so when the calculation is done, you wind up with a decimal which is many recurring values, perhaps, and therefore is not exactly equal to a quarter or an eighth. However, having said that, those values do have exact representations in decimals, so it should be fine.
They're very rational, right?
Yeah.
Those numbers make sense. All right, let's see if we can get the challenge rating string up here now. So this is super cool if this works, right? If this works, we have challenge rating. Oops, rating. I want this in row 1, so I'm going to type in R1 here. Look at CodeRush, help me out. Look at that. Okay. Yeah, I should work with these more often. And then here, I want this in R1 as well. So I'm going to type in R1 here, like that. And then the text for the challenge rating. Let's see if we can get that challenge rating stir in there. Challenge. I would love to get IntelliSense here, but it's not giving to me. Rating stir. Ha! 14. That just totally worked, kids. Look at that. Oh no, what?
Oh.
What? How is that possible? How is that possible? Is it the double versus decimal? Is it really on a 0.25? That's like almost impossible. Or do I need to have my types? What's my challenge rating here? 14. So let's run. And I'm going to move back up again. What's my challenge rating? 0.25. Are you kidding me? That's a false. Is this because these are ints? What if I changed it to like a D? Is that enough?
Double.
That was it.
Oh, I see what you mean. It's the division itself, yes.
Okay. All right. Run. There we go. Look at that. Challenge rating. Sweet. Nice. This is important because Wild Sheep has limitations. This is why this is...
Yes, it does.
Yeah. This is why what we built is like kind of so cool. Right? Those limitations are coming from a completely different spreadsheet out there, which we're also reading directly to and from. Let me bring it up here. It's called the D&D table. Right here. And so for the Druid, which is right here. So it's got all of these. Oh, did I lose Rory? Switch to my other computer, bring him back in. Reconnecting this poor network connection. Let's see if we can hang up and recall him. Redial in Rory.
Hello?
Hey, buddy.
Now that was interesting because you were able to dial me back, which meant that Skype didn't actually crash.
Interesting.
Because I haven't reloaded it. That's very strange. It just abandoned call.
So,
Oh well.
So here, wild shape, the wild shape challenge rating is in the Druid table, right? So in our feature, which is over here, right, this is what's so cool is we're getting data from all over the place and making the whole thing work. In the feature for the wild shape, we're coming in and at some point, when we say select monster, we're going to getting the Druidic wild shape challenge rating, which I believe is a property I've declared over here, which basically goes to the Druid table, looks up this column at the level that matches the level of the Druid. So it just comes back and brings back that wild shape CR. And that wild shape CR is the one we just were looking at right over here. So it's going to bring back, when you get to level 2, that's when you can start using it. And so it'll bring back a 1/4 or 1/2. So what we want to do is filter out that list to only show
things with a challenge rating equal to or less, isn't it?
right, exactly. Thanks for finishing that. But I love that we have this. You know what I want to do next, Rory?
What's that?
I want to go crazy. That's what I want to do. I want to push the limits, see if we can get this thing to go crazy. I want.
Who'da thunk?
Yeah, no, yeah, I know. So somewhere in here, hold on a second. Let me show you in the data. This is potentially exciting if we can get this to work. I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, I'll be officially having a good day. I'll be like, I'm having a good day. All right, check this out. This is our monster data. Look at way out over. Where is it? Come on. Here. I got a column called image URL with this data in it. Okay. What if we could use that? Is image URL? I don't, you know, and I just got to check. I'm not sure if that's actually, I might have to restart. Let's see if we can find image URL. It's only in Monster DTO. Is that ever transferred over? It's not. Okay. So we are going to have to restart the app. Dang.
Sure.
But let's restart it and see if we can actually get that image to show up. How exciting would that be if that worked?
That would be very cool indeed.
Let's go full screen here. Let's tap the next reference on skills. Here we go. So I just want to come in here and say monster dot image URL is equal to monster DTO dot image URL. And that's it. So we're not taking everything over from the monster, but we're taking armor class, hit points, abilities, speed, skill check bonuses, senses, challenge rating. Let's declare this. Whoops, I'm not sure what happened there. I think I hit the wrong key. Let's declare it auto implemented. So there's our image URL. I think we're ready to start.
Okay.
So the question is, can a WPF image or picture control grab an image from a URL? And I bet it totally can.
I would hope so.
I like this kind of dual, you know, having half of the monitor with code and the other half with the UI and making the changes. So here's the monster, already looking way better. So I'm happy about that. Let's take this, move this over here, and that's what I want. And so now let's go into the monster picker XAML, and let's create a. Did I lose you, Rory, again? Oh, man. Let me hang up and dial Rory right back. Rory, you dialed me back before I got you.
I think Skype's having a difficult time. My internet has dropped to sub-megasecond,
All right.
which is small. But yeah.
Well, I'm having such a good day. I will not be so sad when you leave. I'll be okay. All right. After this, then we have the image. Let's do this. This is going to be in column 0. It needs a column span. I think I've got a CodeRush template, CS for column span, and then 2 for 2 columns. Is that true or no? Maybe I don't. Grid, column span, CS. I'll try that one last time. I guess I don't. Grid.column span. And I think I said 2. Like that. I'm really surprised I don't have that template. Let's go take a small diversion. Look at CodeRush for a second. Option salad showed up down on my lower screen. Let's put it up here. Let's look for like R1. Interesting. So we're using, this is very cool, a little bit mind-blowing. We're using 2 different dynamic lists here. And in fairness, I should say, even though I commented interesting, I was the guy who did this. I was the guy who wrote this and put this in here and invented this. And so it's funny, right? I'm like, oh, interesting, very, very interesting approach to solving this problem. Oh yeah, that was me. So good. At least I'm not, at least I'm not hating this
It's
stuff
always
I did.
good when you look at your old code and you don't hate it.
Yeah.
This is good.
It's good. All right. So now,
It's so rare for, yesterday's code is awful.
yeah. So let's see what is going on here. The R1. Hold on. It seemed. Wait. I'm now totally confused because. Wait. No. How are we getting it? Wait a second. Did I misread that? Let's go back again. One more time. Just type in like C1. I was in the wrong place. Here we go. Okay. All right. So let's do this. Let's clear the search filter here. And in grid positioning, we have this. We don't have a column span. Okay. So let's duplicate this and create one. And Roy, leave me a note.
Yep.
So we're going to make it num1 like that. So CS is going to give me that. And add grid coordinates. What's going on with add grid coordinates? Let's drill into that. If I hold down the control key, I can control click on it to jump to it. Expand template, get grid position. Oh no, is this going to be, what's the grid position? Expand template. So this is choosing which template? Holy cow. Now again, here's my reaction. This is, holy cow. Guess who wrote this and built this? This was like me like years ago to make all this work. I'm going to not take the time to fix this now. Grid position
Okay.
column only. Hold on. I just got to figure out this. What's this going in? Grid.column. Oh, wow. Okay, maybe we can make it work. Hold on. Create duplicate. There's a lot of decoupling here. We're going to say grid column span. That's what we're going to do. And we're going to base it on this a little bit. So we're essentially saying, do this work, and here's the template that we want you to expand. Let's create a duplicate of this. I think I can do row spans as well. Can you check that for me? I'm pretty sure I can do a row span in a WPF grid.
I think so, yeah.
Oops, I want to call this row span. Grid row span with no dot in it. Grid row span is the second one.
Yep, there is indeed.
We're going to change this to row span. So your email to me, Rory, is going to say, you know, ship these, right? It's going to be, that's what it's going to be. You're just going to say ship those.
It's got nothing else left to say since you've built it already, right?
Yeah, I just need to get these to the devs and make sure these are all incorporated in there. I've never seen this in my life. Are you talking about what I'm doing, Rory? I mean, Pudding? Okay, so now I've added these two new templates. And so in CS, I'm going to now say, I'm going to call that template. So I'm specifying this is really unusual stuff. I'm setting in a variable the name of the template. It's kind of like it's like passing a function into a function is what we're kind of doing.
Yes.
Here. So we're going to say grid, what do we call this? Column span is what we call this. Grid column span. And then add grid coordinates. I think we can call add grid coordinates because it's just going to come in and expand the template right there. And whatever that is there based on the grid position. So I think it's going to work. Let's go look at this. Where are we again? We're CS. So there's grid column span. I think that's going to work. Let's try duplicating that. Call it RS. Num1 like that, and we're going to call this row or grid row span. See if it works. Okay, so here I want to type in CS2 now to make this work. CS2. That did not work. So we'll figure that out. No, that's not what I wanted to do. Just type in CS2. Add grid coordinates. Grid position. Expand the template, get the grid position. And we set it before, so it should be expanding. We're expecting it to come out to grid column span. Oh, look, I made a mistake. I think that's the problem. I didn't spell column correctly there, and I bet I spelled it correctly in the call. Is that my problem? Yeah, I think that's it. Let's see if that works. All right, so type in CS2. There you go. That's what I wanted. All right, cool. So now I have going to span both columns. It's in row 2. I don't want this to be a text block though. Sorry, I'm going to grab all of this and let's create an image. So what is it, like a picture or something like that? What is that thing called? Image. What is image?
I'm going to go image, yeah.
Okay, cool. And then we're going to say that's where you're going to go. And then we're going to say source is equal to, and then we're going to say binding path equals, and we're going to say, what was it, image URL, I think is what we called it.
Yeah, was there an underscore in that?
Nope. There we go. Oh, look at this. I think it's limited by the height of our grid.
Height of something, certainly.
There it is right there.
But either way, that's graphics, right?
Look at that, kids.
Wow.
Nice.
We may want to scale the image slightly.
Make it bigger. I know what you're saying. Make it bigger with 3D.
True.
Oh my gosh, kids.
Spinning around it.
Do you love this?
I do love that. Yes.
All right, you know what I want to do? Holy cow, this is amazing, says Pudding. Yeah, it's not bad. I'm liking it. All right, cool. Now, there's another thing I've been thinking. I've been actually dreaming this for days. And I've been like, that's too crazy. Don't do that, Mark. But the dream goes like this, because I've been thinking about...
Explain to me this concept of too crazy. I don't understand this term.
I know. I think that I've got a... don't I have a... hold on a second. What is it? I got that one. And there's another one. The training wheels are off, but I forget what my button.
Where we're going, we don't need rails.
Yeah. Crazy. Oh, I got crazy. Here we go. There it is.
Training wheels are off.
Yeah, there it is. All right. So, yeah. What I wanted to do, and it's not a big deal. It's not like a huge deal, but I'm thinking about creating a scroll for the let me initialize player data. I'm thinking about creating a creature scroll and making it a different color, and I've been thinking about making it slam and come up landscape up at the top.
Okay.
Like that. That's what I've been thinking about. 3D dice though did not. Oh wait, I'm initializing. Am I on a breakpoint? Interesting. My initialization, did I just not click on it? Let me try again. Oh, because this is up. Hold on, let's drop this down a second. Let me initialize player data because I want to get rid of that red text up on screen there. Is that going to work? I may have to oh no.
It's gone.
Good. Okay, so pick monster again. Oh yeah, this is so beautiful. All right.
That's so nice.
So what I want to do is I want to be able to take a... here, let me show you. Let me drop this down again. Let's bring up Cornelia. So you look at Cornelia. If you look at her picture right up there, I would need that's about a square aspect ratio. Not quite.
It is.
It's about. I want to be able to, on any of the pictures in the monster picker, to be able to drag a rectangle of the same aspect ratio around the face. Okay? Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Doesn't matter how big it is. I can size it however big I want, right? Mm-hmm. And that's all I'm going to do. And all it's going to do is it's going to store the coordinates of it and its size. So the upper left coordinate and the size.
Right. See, I did wonder how you were going to solve that problem, because you get this sort of problem with company logos and putting them in places, and some of them are vertical, some of them are horizontal, some of them are square, and it's kind of, how do you have a fixed location to put them in? Of course, you solve this because in this case, not every single part of the image is vital, like somebody's logo might be, right? So you can take a predefined shape, as you say, aspect ratio, and draw it over the top independently using your human judgment to get a nice image, an extraction, so to speak, of this image, and then we can use that in their scroll.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Also, I want everybody to watch out because, I have human judgment. Also, Pudding says, show Tarask, please. So find Tarask. Oops, I was stuck. There's Tarask. Oh, this is the placeholder they use when they don't have the image.
Okay.
Wait, that's Triceratops. Hold on. Did I get it right? There's Tarask.
There we go.
That's weird. I thought I clicked on it, but I didn't. Ah, that's cool. I love it. Tarask was a dude? No, he wasn't a dude. No, that was me not clicking on it. That was
accidental Triceratops.
Yeah. So there's Tarask. What a great looking monster, huh? Looks like it could function. Right?
Don't mess with him.
Yeah, so what I want to do is drag the square. Doesn't matter how big it is. I'm just going to store it, and then I'm going to put that in the monster data. Then when we save the monster data out, I'm going to write it right back out here into the Google Sheets here in its own column. Mm-hmm. Okay? So it's like, and then when we build the scroll for showing it, I'm going to pass those down to TypeScript, and it's just going to go out and get the image that's already out there, right? I'm not copying anybody's copyrighted material. I'm just simply showing an image that's publicly available. I'm cropping it, right? And displaying it and then resizing it so it fits. So that when the monster stats come up, it'll just be perfectly done. And I only have to do it I don't do it for everyone. I just have to do it for the monsters that are in the game. So it should be a simple little click and drag, or click and move it around to pick that. Where's the face kind of thing going to be? Where is that going to be? And then you get this really cool UI out of the whole thing. I think it's going to be very cool. Rug of Smothering. There's some nasty creatures in here. All right, do you want to set its max size? I think it's a good idea. Let's do that. So let's put this over here, like that.
Although interestingly, if you end up scaling the image that we have here, and yet this is the interface we're going to use to specify our sort of snippet, our extraction, does that mean that it will have its accuracy will depend on the level of scaling we've already done?
Yeah, I think the accuracy will be an issue, but I'm not really worried too much about accuracy with regards to this, right? The monster image is just there to give people comfort and recognition. Yep. That's all it's got to satisfy.
I love that. Phrases that have never been spoken. The monster image is just there to give people comfort.
It's true. You're welcome. These happen on the show every once in a while. I say things that have never been said before in the history of man. Or woman. Okay, so let's see. What is it going to be? It's like max width, I bet. So I'm going to type in MW and maybe, I don't know, 200. See what happens there. Well, MW is min width. It's MXW 200. That. All right, that seemed to do it.
That works.
You kind of go down through these and take a look at them. All right, cool. Yeah, it works for me. I don't mind the different length.
Nice.
I really don't. So because of the different aspect ratios, I don't mind. I'm pretty cool with it. Nice. That's my challenge rating. Let's throw just a couple more out, and then we'll go to the next step, which is to filter these out and grab one. Come down. Maybe let's do this. Let's actually put this up above. Put that right there under the name. This is going to be in grid row 1, and this is now going to go to grid row 2. Like that. I'm going to take both of these, duplicate that, and now come in here, and we're going to call this the hit points. Like that. And that's going to be in grid row 3, and all that's auto. This is in column 1, grid row 3, and the text is going to be bound to, I think it's called hit points. Please, no. Let's see. Nothing's coming in. I wonder if it's with a lowercase h. Or you know what? No, you know what? I think it's something different. We might have to restart. I've seen this. Let's first verify that I've got the right. Can I drill into this? Can I drill into this? Nope. Okay. All right. So let's go into challenge rating string. Go into that. And let's go look at hit points. I've got something called hit points dice. I don't think it's going to work. Because it's a public field and not a property, for some reason it does not like that when I do the binding. If I do this, is that going to work? It's not going to work. If I change it, I think I'm going to have to restart. Or I can set a breakpoint and create something different, a different named property. Yeah, it's... So
we're saying that the binding is only capable of looking at properties rather than fields?
Yeah, that's what I saw. That's the behavior I saw. Wait, I want to go in here because it could be that we have a property up above. We have a max hit points and hit points, but I bet it's not a property. That's, I think, my problem. So let's close this down. Let's just make a couple changes to that. We'll add getters and setters down in those spaces. So hit points, just convert all of those over. Gold pieces. I was using these because my convention here was to use fields when I was just using the data to pass down to TypeScript. And oops, I need that. Need those. Need a semicolon at the end. I'm just going to do this across the board. The things I want to show and be able to talk about. Got alignment in there, that's good. Alignment string, we'll go ahead and do that. Manages, active conditions. Yeah, super interesting that that's the case. Yeah, I discovered that I think over the weekend. I was looking at this and I was like, really? So I bet that's just an efficiency decision they made. I think at first they were like, you know, who's not going to use properties for important data they want to show? That was, and then they were like, because we don't want to make two different calls because it's two different calls in reflection to go check to see what are the properties and now give me a list of the fields. So I think that's what they were doing. Senses, let's do that. Swimming speed. Telepathy radius, temp hit points. Okay, that's a lot of the ones I want. Armor class we got as a property. All right, so that's a lot of them. All right, let's run it again. Pudding says Mark wants to rub its belly. He's talking about the Tarrasque, I think.
I think so.
Uh-oh. Got some errors. Oh, yeah. That. All right, I'm going to go in. It's all right. I'm going to remove these. And that's the other reason why I had these, because of that function right there. Base intelligence. I'm going to just get rid of these 6 here. The core 6 abilities, because I've got that function. I've got a couple functions that are passing those in as refs, and I don't want to change those just yet. Let's see what we can build now. Something else? Wow. Okay, this is somewhat problematic. First thought is in changing set field. This code, I think we wrote this code about a year ago, Roy. I feel like you were with me when we wrote this. Is set field, so instead of taking a ref, it takes a character in. It's taking the field here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I see what's going on. Yeah, this is tough. So this code is pretty efficient right here.
Yep. So you've got basically 2 sets of functionality, one that depends on you having properties and one that depends on them being fields. Is there any scope for writing a wrapper class that takes the existing character and just exposes the fields you care about as properties, binding to that instead? Or is that too much?
No,
overkill?
I don't think that's... Well, there's a lot of properties here. It's like, I'm not quite sure what I want to do yet to solve this problem, is the answer to your question, right? I want to think about this is what I want to do.
Okay.
You sent me an image, so I need to look at that now?
Yeah, I just pushed a button for no reason.
Oh, okay.
I didn't realize it was going to capture it and send it.
Yeah, that's a Skype bonus right there, I think, is what that is. All right, so we're gonna need to solve this problem because we have some really efficient code that works well with fields, And I think to make it efficient, we've got to change it to use reflect. It'll be less of it'll be slower. Let's see what's going on here. Is it going to build now? Should have gone to my arrow list. I'd almost, think about like, well, maybe I build a property. What is this? What was the error? Markup extensions require a single equal sign between name and value, a single comma between constructor parameters and name value pairs. The argument's path is equal to, not valid. What? Line 66, position 45. Oh, because I don't have a path here. Well, that's really weird. Oh, no, wait, it's not, because I haven't done anything yet here. Okay, that's not weird. I wanted to say hit points here. Let's do this. Let's go into character. I'm kind of feeling this. PS for property, type string, call it hit points. Then we want to go find that other hit points. Can I tap the next reference to find the error? There it is, right there. Okay. Oh, AS, it should have been AD. Oops. Now there should have been TD, not TS. TD, like that. Okay. Good. So now what I've done is I've done this right here. So I get my field, and it's got the column property, so I can do all the magic there. And then I also get the property. I want to do the same thing with gold pieces up here. Copy that to the clipboard. Okay. Come down in here and type in PM. M is my new. I added this for decimals because M stands for money, I think. And let's go grab that extra one. It just declared it there. At the top, we declared it and renamed it because I renamed it to gold pieces. So now I've got my second with gold pieces here. And let's at least live with those two. So we'll add those two pieces, take a look at it, see how it looks. And then we'll work on filtering, I think.
This should work at least.
Cornelia.
All right. Looks like I need to initialize player data before I get that hide scroll button, so I'll do that. Let's get this positioned over on the left in case we want to do any work.
Tomacina.
And let's go over into test. Pick monster. Nice. Looks like hit points is working now.
Yeah.
Here's my monster picker. It's starting to become a big project here. And one more time, we're going to come in here, grab this, duplicate that, and we're going to change this to gold pieces. That doesn't make sense because look how it's figured out row 4. That's awesome. And then gold pieces, I think is what it is. 0. Yeah, 0 for that monster. The monster has no gold. What was there another property out there that we added? I'm not sure if there was. We can work with. Let's go see if there's any other properties here.
I gotta say, just looking though at what we've got so far, you can see it starting to become more professional with every single thing that's added. You've got the ability to have the standard text of the label, the bolded for the values themselves. You've got the image in there at the right size. It's very easy to picture a scroll around this as you say, in a similar nature to the way the character scrolls are, and to have almost like a deck of cards, right? Here is a card which is the stats, the top trumps, the card representative of the monster being slammed down, just as you were saying.
Yeah.
And for this to make a really authentic experience.
Yeah. Let me see. Do I have? Can I do their abilities? Here we go. So let's see base strength. Where is that used? I'm looking for like a property called strength. Looks like I've got way too many references to this. I thought tab to next reference could help me find it. There we go. I have a property called strength. It's read only. I think I can use these. So let's set the stats. Let's go back over to the form for picking the monster picker. And let's come in here, grab those two lines, duplicate those, and we're going to call this strength. That's in 5, and we're going to say find a strength. Cool, 21 is showing up.
Yeah.
Let's duplicate line again. We're going to call this, I'm trying to remember what's next. What is it down the list? Strength, dexterity is the next one. So we'll say dexterity, like that. Duplicate line. Constitution, I think, is next. Duplicate line. Look what's coming in, kids.
Look at it just all popping up there.
Intelligence, wisdom, charisma are next. Intelligence. Like that. Wisdom. Look at Code Rush help me out.
Mm-hmm.
And charisma. Also mark this time. I'll make a Code Rush clip for that. Kind of cool.
Okay.
Let's see. What's wrong here? Row. Oh, we got out of the number of rows we have. So we'll just duplicate this line here to give us another row. And there we go. So we've added all of those pieces there. It's not bad. Not bad. There's maybe some organizational issues there, but pretty cool, right? We're seeing we've got a not bad monster picker. So next I want to do something with the filtering here, like by name. Actually, maybe not. Let's instead do this. Let's hook this up to the code, because we really want to be able to pick what creature you can turn into. At least show them all there. So let's look at the code for the feature and wild shape. We set wild shape, select monster, and we pass in as a filter this Druidic wild shape challenge rating. So that's going to be the max level challenge rating that we can select from. So back in our code, back over here, let's maximize this to a full screen. Let's save this. Let's go to our main app, our main window. Right there. This reflection is here. Why do
Mr. Reflection.
Why do PHP devs write the $sign before every variable? They want the money. Well, thank you, Mr. Reflection. You're probably exactly right. All right. So let's see. I need to get my bearings on here because I was distracted by that. Let me get back on track. What were we trying to do, Rory?
We were just putting all manner of different attributes up on our card. So we've got all the strength, constitution, the dexterity.
I know what I want to do. I need to go find select monster in here. Select monster. Request select monster. This is my event handler. And right now I'm just returning back a giant ape. And instead, what I want to do, are we running? We're running right now. Should I close it down? I guess I don't have to. Let's set a breakpoint here then. Let's go to Cornelia. And let's take wild shape. Get to our breakpoint. All right, let's try this. Would it be upset if I moved this method? Okay, here's like, I want to say, I say this like almost every show, I feel like in my head, but here's the ultimate test of whether edit and continue is awesome or not. I'm going to delete this. Notice where the execution point is. Is edit and continue, and then I'm going to move it down to the bottom. Is edit and
I would be stunned if this works.
All right, watch this. I'm going to now hit F10. Look at that, kids.
Wow.
That was somebody on the Visual Studio team kicking butt right there. That's what they were doing. All right, now what I want to do is something like this. Now I want to pop this up here, and got my data context, but now I think I got a filter. Is what I think I got to do. And I think that's a select statement. Is that right? No, it's not select. It's where. I got to remember this right. It's where. Then I just type in x equals, hit the space bar, and Coders gives me that, or the tab key. Tab key is your extension. And I'm going to say where the challenge rating is less than or equal to EA dot max challenge rating. Let's see what that's initialized to. Is that initialized to max value? Good. I want to make sure I did that. So I did do that. So now I'm going to get only those. Then I'm going to do a to list on that, I think. That's what I got to do.
Okay.
All right. I think there's a shot that's going to work. Then show
Sounds
dialog.
good.
Now the problem is I'm not doing anything with the selection yet. So I guess we can write that code right now. Let's go drill into this. Whoops, I didn't want to go there. I want to go to the form select monster or monster picker. I want to come in here and I want to say something like this. Selected monster is equal to LB monsters dot selected item as monster. As monster. I think I need a something on that because we're at a breakpoint. I'm going to just choose that option right there. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to say declare auto implemented property. Fine. There's my selected monster. And I think here I'm going to just, well, it's going to be set to null anyway. I don't need to worry about that. And then let's come back over here. And I'm going to say the monster is equal to form monster picker dot selected monster. And I think there's a chance that's going to work. So now let's come back up here. So just to take bearings on where we are. We hit a breakpoint. We cut the method. We moved it down to the end of the file. Because I like to have things I'm working on near the end so I can very quickly get down and take a look at things that are maybe in development. Okay, this is the request select monster event. So this is triggered by the expression evaluation engine. So, and that is triggered by this line of code right here, select monster there. So we're expecting the Druidic wild shape challenge rating to come in, and I'm not sure what Thomasina's, I'm not sorry, what Cornelia's level is. Actually, I can find out here. I think she's level 2. So let's look at this. Players, Cornelia, she's level 3. Okay, so Cornelia is a level 3, which means if we go to the Druid chart, which is not on this page, over here, level 3, she's going to get a 1/4. So it's 1/4. If she gets to level 4, she should get 1/2. But we should see this all filtered.
So that's going to limit the creatures that she can see then to those with a challenge rating of 1/4 or less.
I don't know. Wait, what's going on here?
That's the theory, right?
This is not good. Well, I may have a problem here. Edit and continue may not be okay. This music is super appropriate for that little squiggle. Let's go circle a few more times in case you can't see it. That's my problem. All right, let's see. I don't think it's going to like it. What's going to happen? It's not
going to like something, is it?
Yeah, if I say set next statement, it'll either let me do it or it won't. What is it? Adding a using directive. What?
We didn't do that. We avoided that specifically, didn't we?
I don't see what the using directive is. Let's, what was it? Was there another problem too? I'm going to get it to work. Capturing variable EA that hasn't been captured before will prevent the debug session from continuing. Oh, got it.
That's the property on the 4 monster picker.
Yeah, that's all right. Here's my solution. Don't worry. We're
It's all right. Never mind reality, says Mark.
Yeah.
We've got a way work around it.
edit and continue says I'm not comfortable, and I'm going to buy edit and continue drink. And here's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to hit undo. I'm going to undo. I copied that code to the clipboard there. At least I think I did. Hopefully that's there. I'm going to come back here. Whoops, that's a little too far, I think. Looking for, that's the one right there.
This is just before you move the method entirely from where it was.
Yeah, there we are right there. Okay, so that's where we are. I'm not sure. What do I want to do? I want to set a breakpoint somewhere. I need to get in here and add that code. Pick monster click. We'll set a breakpoint there. We can't change it because the EA hasn't been. Oh, come on. What's my problem now? Adding a using directive. Oh, okay. You think that was there? I'm telling you it wasn't, but all right. What's that?
Mark hand waves it all away. Pay no attention to the using directive.
Oh. This is this is real. That's all right. We're cool. It's cool. We're cool, baby. All right, here we go. Boom. You okay, Karen? Oh, we're cool, baby. Karen's like, you are not authorized to say those words. Well, I'm authorized, baby. All right, continue. We are running, people. Okay, watch this. So now, what was it? Where did I set my breakpoint? Gotta keep track of about 40 things here. Pick monster. Okay, so test, pick monster. There's my breakpoint. Let's go.
Okay, and you've got the old implementation on the clipboard still, right?
I hope so.
And you've got clipboard history to back you up if not, so that's fine.
Here we go. Paste it. Set a breakpoint. Run it. Oh, it's the EA capturing, isn't it? All right, we're going to have to give up on that. Unfortunately, there's just no way around that.
Speaking of which, Mark, it's that time again.
All right. Yeah.
Sadly.
Did you see what happened? I bought edit and continue drink, and edit and continue slapped me in the face.
Apparently so.
All right, Rory. Well, you know what we say when Rory leaves.
He's awesome!
That's what we say. He's awesome.
Thank you very much.
We're restarting. Rory, thanks so much. It was super fun. We'll see you tomorrow.
No problem whatsoever, friend. Yes, I will indeed. See
Karen
you
says
tomorrow,
goodbye.
same time.
She's gonna wave at you here. There's her face.
Bye, Karen.
So cute. He's awesome.
All right, guys. I'll catch you
Belly
tomorrow.
are you rubbing?
See you soon.
It's one of the creatures. I'll show you. You want to see it? So yeah. See you soon, Rory. Thanks. I think I got initialized player data. Then I got to go bring up the monster picker.
What monster?
It's called the. It's one that. It's called the Tarrasque. It's actually a cool looking monster. Here, I'll show it to you. Pick monster. Clear that breakpoint. Run it. And so Rory leaves and we get Karen. That's right. It's not bad. All right, Tarrasque. Let's go get it. It is there. Right there. That's what it looks like. So the belly, the reason for the belly comment is because it's kind of got all of this armor on the back. But who's a good Tarrasque? Who's a good? Okay.
So where's this monster from? Like, why is it?
It's from Dungeons and Dragons.
Well, I know.
It's a cool looking monster. We were just so the monster picker. This is so that you can select monsters from the game, right? So this is code for figuring out, and displaying the monsters.
You're doing all of them?
Kind of. It's the data already exists. I'm just displaying it and showing it here.
Oh, okay.
For example,
all right, yeah,
when
like spells.
Cornelia's got a feature called Wild Shape, and when she invokes that feature, she gets to choose a creature to be in the form of, right? And
doesn't Melanie also have wild shape?
yeah, Melanie does as well. So they both do, but it has to be a challenge rating that's of like 1/4 or less. So it's got to be some creature that they've seen with a challenge rating of 1/4 or less. And so what we're doing is we're building the code to enable them to be able to select a creature, but only show. We're about to make it so it only shows the creatures that they can select. So anyway, we're about to test that code right now. Surly Dev says control key.
You know what I don't like about Dungeons and Dragons? Rats.
Are there rats in here?
Swarm of rats.
Oh yeah, there's rats right there.
I'm just saying. Why?
I won't click on that. Yeah, no, yeah. You don't like rats. It's okay. It's okay to have a phobia.
It's not a phobia. I just.
Do you know what I'm afraid of? I have a phobia.
Better be me.
I'm afraid of getting beaten if I don't get my wallet up. I've had a lot. The database programmers at school, they used to beat me up because I didn't know how to program in the databases. Yeah. So anyway.
Nobody understands you. Oh,
okay. Okay. That's time for you to go. When the lights go out, time for you to go, baby. Okay. All right. Control key when drawing and zoom in. I'm afraid of running. Oh yeah, you're surly. You're right. Control key. I'm afraid of running out of bacon too. I am. I think it's time to make some bacon soon. I think I'm going to do that after the show. All right, so now we're going to try now we're going to do our test, see if it works. The test, right, just to reorient you here, we're executing this line of code here in the feature for Wild Shape, what we call select monster. We're hopefully passing in a 1/4, and we're going to get that, and we're going to show only the monsters that Cornelia can turn into. Let's try it. So click on Cornelia, choose take wild shape, cross your fingers if you believe in that. Let's see what happens here. Boy, oh boy. Oh, there's a count of 0? What's my my max challenge rating. Hold on. The max challenge rating is not a good number. That looks like it's set to a int.min value is what it looks like it's maybe set to. Yeah, it looks like it's set to int.min value. What happened there? I think I need a breakpoint here. Is what I think I need. All right, let's try that. Let's come back up here again. F10, hopefully get to that breakpoint. Didn't get the breakpoint. Oh, sorry. I need to get outside of this is what I need to do. Let's come down here and then come back in. Set next statement. Get out of there. Okay, let's come back up here one more time. Set the next. What's my args count? Yep. Set next statement. What's args to 0? Druidic wild shape challenge rating. Am I doing this wrong? It's going to try and cast it as a double. Result is 1/4. Okay. I think this is my problem. Hold on. Okay, let me run it a second. Let's go to the data, to the Druid table. Yeah, so I think the problem is I'm bringing in this as a 1/4, and it should be a 0.25. I think if I change that, I think this is going to work because it doesn't know how to convert fractions. Let's try that. Let's close this down. Let's initialize player data again so it gets in that fresh data. Hopefully it'll get in the that piece as well. Let's go back out to where we were. Got a breakpoint there, good. All right, Cornelia.
Come and see that. Fit.
Hide the scroll. Pick wild shape. And now let's see what happens. Still not any good. Is it because it's still 1-4? Wait. Let's go set next statement and jump into it. I bet the table hasn't been reloaded. I bet we still see 1/4 here. We do. You know, I could also do this. I could support fractions. Is what I could do. Let's do that. Let's support fractions. So let's start here, and we're going to split the conditional there. It's a code-rich feature. If that works, then we're here. Otherwise, we know we're still a string. But let's see if we can find the position of the slash, the forward slash. So coming down in here, say dot index of, like that. Slash position. If slash position is greater than 0, it can't be greater than or equal to 0 because that doesn't give us a numerator and a denominator. So then we'll come down here. So slash position is greater than 0. Then we're going to say the numerator is equal to result stir. Actually, we don't even need this. Hold on. I can make this code a little easier to read. If result string dot contains that, then result numerator equals result stir dot everything before. This is an extension method we wrote for strings, which we like. Everything before that. Let's do this. I would declare constant, introduce constant. I want a local constant. That's what I want right there. Should have done it for everyone. Hold on. Introduce constant for all occurrences of it. Huh, that's weird. It gave me the same thing. All right, let's just move it up here. Divide symbol. Okay, so our numerator is going to be that, and our denominator is going to be everything after. And we'll throw a trim on the end of that. And we'll do the same thing here. Then we're going to do this. Well, let's call these stirs, because they're still both stirs. Then we're going to say if td dot try parse numerator string out td numerator, and let's just take that whole thing, shift enter on it to duplicate it. Numerator goes to denominator string. That's right, out denominator. Good. Looks like I missed a closing paren on that. Okay. So if that's the case, and that's the case, then we can now say, denominator is not equal to 0. Then we can say return numerator divided by denominator, which means we can go back out to the spreadsheet and go back to something that looks real. Not too much work, and we've got some fraction support. Let's see if it works. Set a breakpoint there. Run. Should we hit it? Yep, we hit it as we were hoping to. It's got a divide symbol. Numerator's 1, denominator's 4. Try to parse them both. We got it. Nice. Look at that. That's good. And look at this. It worked. I think it worked. Challenge rating. Everything's got to be 0 or 1/4 or 1/8. Sweet. And those are all the creatures that Cornelia can turn into. There's a couple more limitations. It can't have a flying speed, and it cannot have a swimming speed. It's a different filter. It's not bad. Should we keep going? Stripping bacon nectar. I'm making oven bacon. You know, surely my favorite way to make bacon is deep frying it. It's one of my favorite ways to make it. Oven's not bad though, but I find oven bacon is so tough to get the temperature right because the bacon oil seems to burn before the bacon does, and then it gets through the bacon and makes the bacon all bitter. All right, let's get that next piece in. I don't have a deep fat fryer anymore. It's a good thing. The only problem with deep fat fryer, hard to clean, and what do you do with all the oil? Kind of a little bit messy. Let me go check and see who's, is that just Roy who was talking to me earlier? Okay, cool. All right. Next filter, which is from the other column, wild shape limitations right here. Oh, you know what? I didn't actually take it all the way. I should have done that. We didn't do that test all the way. Restore normal shape. Take wild shape. Let's get the double back. Should get 0.25. Excellent. Let's set a breakpoint there. Run. Here we go. Let's select something with a neat picture. Fine, a dredge. That's the wild shape. And did we get it back? Looks like we got it. Cool. Now the cool thing about this, so the dredge's strength is 11. She's going to pick up her strength is going to turn to an 11. I don't think we can see what it is here, but we can go to the spreadsheet that was before it. Look at the player. And what was Cornelia's strength before? She had a base strength of 10. So her base strength should go up to 11 now that she's in the drow form. So let's run it and see if that actually happens. Because we're actually testing the code that does this, that makes the change. Strength is, well, it says a 10 here, but let's see what she's doing.
Cornelia.
Ah, still a 10. Dang, dang, dang. I still think it might be right at some levels. But it's hard to come up with a good test. We definitely need to see that changing there. Why is the strength still showing up as a 10? Trying to think of a good breakpoint to explore this. Let's set a breakpoint here. And let's trigger that breakpoint. Whoops, actually not there. Here. All right, let's maybe go in the watch window. What do I have? I've got something called game dot all players. Look who's here, kids. Get out of here.
He's in the house.
We having fun? I didn't miss anything exciting yet? We had some good times. Roll my bacon up and put it in a tray, about 12 to 18 rashers. I don't know what that is. And put the oven on a low heat for about 3 for a couple of hours. Yeah. I think that's the key, right? You need multiple hours at low heat to make this thing turn out well. Wicked Blue Ninja's in the house as well. Hey, Wicked Blue Ninja. No, I think you're just lurking. That's okay. All right, I want to go in here. I'm trying to figure out. Miss Mark trying to rub a trust on me. Oh, just want to make sure that Wicked Blue Ninja doesn't try to sneak in here again. No one's good at distracting me. Never see it coming. What the? Blue Ninja. There you are, buddy. Nice. Wicked Blue Ninja showed up like that at one of our Dragon Humpers games, and we played this fanfare. So kind of fun. Okay, so I'm trying to come in here, and I want to go game.players, and we're just going to find Cornelia in this group. Maybe number 2. Got a she. I think her name is down here in the fields. Cornelia. Okay, so now I want to look for a property inside of that. So that's number 1. So game players. 1 dot, and it's a wild shape. What do we got? It's a monster. So it's really there. So that did work. So the wild shape dretch did work. Its strength is an 11. Why aren't we seeing her strength show up as an 11? Let's go look at this. Maybe I'm just reading it wrong. Maybe we've got a problem with the code. Strength. It is an 11. Okay, so that part is good. What we have a problem though is that we're not updating here. So we got to figure out why we're not updating. I'm just going to make a note of that right now. And why are we not updating the scroll? Look into that later. Let's go back to our... So it does look like it's working. The basic code that we wrote is working. That's excellent. Next, I want to set it so the next filter piece works, which is it can't have a flying or swimming speed. If it can fly or swim, so these two must be 0. So that's my wild shape limitations. So that means I need a new property. And that's on the other spreadsheet. Or maybe I don't. It's right here, druidic wild shape limitations. But now I'm going to pass that in as a parameter for the feature, the wild shape feature. In this line of code right here on activate. So when this is activated, we're passing in 2 parameters now. Second one's going to be the druidic wild shape limitations. So that's going to form the filter. Now that change is made. Let's go into the code. Select monster. Is that it? No, wait, that's the event args. Select monster function. It's right there. Scroll. How do we lose the back page? Wicked Blue Ninja. Oh, we turned off the top monitor on that. There we go. That's probably a little bit better. Wicked Blue Ninja says great D&D the other day. Thanks so much. All right, let's go back over here. And let's see here. We've got select monster. We're looking for now between 0 and 2. args, which we're going to take a breakpoint on here. And let's invoke it. So restore normal shape. And then let's reset one of these charges. Take the wild shape. Now let's go to 2. Let's go into our monster event args. And I think I'm going to add 2 new properties here. Max swim speed and max flying speed, max fly speed, flying speed and swimming speed. Set that equal to max value. All right. Let's get down to here. Just hitting run. Expecting to get there. I did not get there because I need to reinitialize the player data to load in that change to the code.
Come and see that. Wiggle spit.
Okay, take wild shape. Now run it. I think we're going to get the breakpoint. Okay, cool, we're here. So I think now we're going to do expressions.getString. Like getStir is what I called it. That's going to pass in args of 1. And that we're going to say that's going to be the speed limitations. And we're going to split by commas. So what we're doing now is we're just parsing this data right here. Here's your control right there, buddy. Certainly, Deb. All right, so we're just looking for that. And we want to turn that into limitations like that. Then we do want to do like a for each in here. And then we want to do something like this. Maybe a switch statement on limitation. And if it is flying, then we're going to say EA dot EA max flying speed is equal to 0. And change this to swimming. And change that. How'd that go? Germunder says, loving the stream. Is the Google Doc your pseudocode? Yeah, it's a Google Sheets. It is I don't know if you want to call it pseudocode. It's code that is executed by the expressions engine. And so this is we're looking at Dungeons and Dragons features right here. So we're looking at the wild shape feature, but the same code exists for spells as well. So spells, the logic of the rule is put inside of the spreadsheet. The code goes out, grabs the logic, and executes it. And so that's what we're doing right now is we are working on this line of code here to set the wild shape. We're working on the filter for the select monster. So the select monster only shows the monsters, the creatures that are limited by the challenge rating and the other limitations like the flying speed and the swimming speed. It's being parsed and read. Yeah, it is. We have an expressions engine. We actually integrated one. Seb expression evaluator, coding Seb, that guy right there. This is what we're using. It's not bad. There's parts of it I really like, a couple things I wish were different, but in general we're making it work out pretty well, right? Really extending it, creating our own custom functions. Right, for example, the select monster function right here, float player text, set, all of these are functions we added. Add timer, we all added these functions. We added those functions using C# code. So we've got some C# code over there. We've got an engine that looks for the code that implements the function, registers it automatically. So then when it sees it in the text, it goes and associates it with the C# function. So for example, right now, we're inside of select, we're looking at select monster, and we're actually in the select monster function class, and we're in this evaluate function. So we're actually in here right now looking at these pieces coming in. So I'm expecting to hit these two lines of code down here if this code we wrote is correct. And I think I want to do just one small thing here. I just want to add a trim just to be a little forgiving of spaces inside of there. So cool, now we're going to take our max flying speed, drop it to 0. And I think the second time we should get into this line right here. There it is right there. So cool. So we've done that, excellent. Now we're going to go to on request select monster. So now we've added support for an additional parameter inside of our select monster function that we created ourselves, right? So that corresponds to this. And this is the second parameter we added. Now we just got to go back out to our in our main window, set a breakpoint here, and we got to modify this where clause right here. That's what we've got to do. And so it's going to look like this. And I'm going to come down here and I'm going to say x dot swimming speed is less than or equal to EA dot max swimming speed, and x dot flying speed is less than or equal to EA dot max flying speed. Let's see how it looks. Method not found. Get event args, select monster. I think this might be, because I added these during using edit and continue, I think we've just kind of broken it, and I think it's going to be a restart. So let's restart it.
Miss Wigglesbit.
So right now when I click initialize player data, it's going out to all the sheets, all the tables out there, loading them up.
Miss Cornelia.
Take wild shape. We should see nothing that's able to fly, and it does look like we're indeed seeing fewer items inside of here. I don't have the flying speed up here yet. Can I show that? Do I have flying speed as a property on monster? I don't know if I do or not. I think it's up in creature. It is a property though. Sweet. Okay, so because that's a property, we can use XAML hot reload. Come down in here. I think we're gonna have to add a new, just use a duplicate line there to add a new row. And come down here, grab these two, duplicate those. Notice how CodeRush sees the pattern, changes my row to 11 here for me automatically. Let's change this to flying speed, like that. Enter, enter there. We just need to change this piece to flying speed. And that should work. Whoops, I'm sorry. Path is equal to flying speed, right there, like that. Okay, select both of these. Let's duplicate these. This, call it swimming speed, like that. Enter, enter, and then change this to swimming speed, which I think also starts with a lowercase s. And let's add another row. I don't know if I did that or not. And all those changes, sorry, we should see those over here. Yeah, there they are. So we should see 0 and 0 all the way across as we go down. Flying speed, swing speed, all the way across. Yeah. Nice. Good. And compare that for when if we cancel this and just bring up the pick monster, here you can see swimming speed already is 40. So that's super cool. Yeah, there you go. Adult black dragon. That's pretty, whoops. Control. There you go. All right, kids, I think that's a show. Not bad, right? We've definitely accomplished some things. Not a ton of code that was involved in it. Got some very cool displays kind of starting to show up in form here. Yeah, let's see who else is out there coding right now. I think build's going on. Let's go see if I can figure out where build is. I'll send you guys all over to build if we can raid them. I think that's the Microsoft developer, which I don't think is a member of Live Coders team. Let's see, twitch.tv, Microsoft developer. Am I remembering that correctly? Shirley's got a link for me, maybe. Hey, it's what I remembered. I was talking to you, baby. You just walked in.
I think you were talking to somebody else.
All right, cool. Let's send you over to Microsoft Build, kids. That's what we're going to do. Here it comes. Have fun. And we'll see you again tomorrow.